So it's Monday something. I have no idea. I left Thursday afternoon to go to Missouri to try to get away from Robert Schmidt Jr. I spent all of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday packing up as much stuff as I could, grabbing documents and things like that to get the fuck out of here. I made a plan. I had everything together. I went down to Missouri with the kids. I already did the videos about that. And then on Saturday afternoon, I left on Thursday afternoon. On Saturday afternoon, he came down to Missouri demanding that I sit on a tent in Hermann, Missouri, and he brought down all this camping shit. And then I told him, I said, I don't really want to stay necessarily in a Hermann campground. I stayed at a hotel on Thursday night, Friday night, and I was going to stay there again Saturday night because I felt that I deserved a 3-day break to try to get some sleep, and I didn't. He was on the phone with me all the time, and, he would tell me that he wants to be with me and wants to come down there and that I'm safe to come back to Springfield. He admits nonstop of what he's doing. He made Kira pack up all of this stuff on Saturday morning with no food, no breakfast, nothing. Did not bring any provisions. Did not bring food for himself. Did not bring toilet paper. Did not bring clothes. Did not bring meat from the refrigerator. Did not bring the eggs from the refrigerator. Did not bring the juice from the refrigerator. Did not bring the soda from the refrigerator. Didn't bring butter. Didn't bring condiments. Didn't bring anything except for a tent, some blow-up beds, a broken lantern, empty propane tanks, and he just fucked around the whole time. I wound up not being able to eat anything but 2 strips of bacon and a bowl of cereal on Saturday because he was just on the phone with me constantly, and I've got it. I mean, we were on the phone for 3-4 hours at a time of him just starting shit with me and just wishy-washing. Well, I want to come down there. And I don't want to come down there. Oh, I love you. Well, you're just such a problem. I don't know if the guy's bipolar, schizophrenic, a psychotic. I don't know. But it is destroying me. And you can look at me and you can see how it's destroying me compared to the other videos. Now, on Friday and Saturday, before he got down there, I'd been having so much fun, meeting so many different people, getting phone calls done, finding myself places to live, finding myself storage units, even found myself prospects of a couple of jobs in a matter of 48 hours, even when 24 hours of that 48 hours was spent with him just arguing with me about everything. And so, he demanded that we go see that house at 3:30 in the afternoon. Nobody's ate. We're supposed to just be chilling on the campground and doing something fun. And for 10 hours, he argued with me from 7 o'clock in the morning until 3:30 p.m. about hot dog buns, eggs for breakfast, sandwich meat, how to make coffee. He didn't bring a tripod that we put over the fire to make coffee, and he didn't bring fuel for the lantern. So luckily the site that I had picked had electricity, and I had already bought coffee, and I had already done all of these things. I had already planned all of these things. I have contingency plans for contingency plans for the contingency plans. And he has no plan. And then he creates havoc for 12, 15 hours over something that would take 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes to discuss, and less than 15 minutes to execute and complete. 10 hours we will argue over that thing. And then I will wind up doing it myself. I'll just go ahead and do it. No, fine, I'll just do it. And that's what I did yesterday. I loaded everything up in my truck because he said that we were going to go camping together, and Carol was going to come down and spend the week with me. And I was like, well, I was just going to stay in this hotel again. And he was like, no, you can't afford that. You can't afford to do this. You can't afford to do that. And I was like, okay, then I can't afford to be driving over to see a house. I can't afford to be feeding you and Kira if you guys come down here. And I can't afford a camping site. I've got a bed in my truck. I've got a camping bed, all the camping supplies, everything a human could need to survive, jumping cables, everything. First aid, medication, toilet paper, paper towel, napkins, 3 different types of soap, 3 different types of cleaners, a bucket, washcloths, towels, everything. Toothpaste, mouthwash, everything that a human being needs to survive is in that truck. Computer, books, a password book, Bible, jewelry, everything, except for he took my clothes out and left it there and abandoned it on a campground down in Missouri. When I told him not to come down, I told him I didn't want him to bring the camping stuff, and that if he was going to come down, I wasn't going to camp. I was going to stay one more night in that hotel, and he was welcome to come and stay with me, with Kira, and we could go hiking or something and go visit Katy Trail. Tuesday was going to be like 89, and a float trip is what I was thinking about doing. You know, I did all of the research. I did all of the ideas. I disseminated all of the information. And then I needed him as my husband to make a decision as to what we were going to do together. 10 hours. He couldn't figure out how to go to the store the night before. He brought hot dogs because I told him to bring the hot dogs. And I said, make sure to bring everything that goes with hot dogs. Ketchup, mustard, relish, onion, hot dog buns, cooking sticks. He brought 2 cooking sticks and the hot dogs. We have everything already here because I keep my house well stocked. Hot dog buns, condiments, relish, everything that you could want. And he brought nothing else, not even ice. Not even ice on the food that he was bringing down. And everything that we have ever done in the ways that we have ever done it for 33 years and going camping and doing a road trip and preparing our house, he left the dogs. He left the 2 female miniature dachshunds here alone. He left the house right before Ian left for work on Saturday. And Ian wouldn't be back until midnight. So my 2 little dachshunds are left without one of their dachshunds. They've never been left at home alone because I'm always home. Kira's always home because we homeschool. Ian just started a job, so those dogs are used to having 3 to 4 people in that house at all times for their entire life. And then he leaves them there, knowing that I took the food in the dog bowls and stuff, and that I had told him that Arlo was missing, the dog I took. Arlo. I took him because he's my ESA, my emotional support animal, and he's a Velcro dog. He needs to be right next to me. As you can see, it doesn't matter what he's doing. He's right beside me, he's at my feet, and he is guarding me. We call him security. Security, because he's always investigating and making sure everything's safe. The other girls are more interested in sunbathing, snuggles, digging holes, and chasing mice. But he's into security. He's into emotional support, and his breeder did breed him for that. But anyways, he just, as we were trying to leave, it took him an hour and a half to figure out how to close up the campsite so that we could leave to go do that house. And by the time all that was done and nobody had ate and it was 3:30, I was like, I don't think it's a good idea for us to drive 2 hours away to go look at that house. I'm down here. I rented a campground now for a week, and I can go see it anytime. You set up a campground, just go back to Springfield. I've got the food, the grocery store's here. You brought me the coolers. I've got the benches. I've got everything I need. You went ahead and set me up on a campground. I'll do this. It'll be a week. But he demanded that we go see the house. And about 40 minutes outside of Herman, heading to go see this house in Alton, I think is where it was called. I think it was Alton. And God told me, just head back to Springfield. Go get in your bed. Go get your 2 dogs. By the time you get there, the dogs will have only been by themselves for the 2nd day in a row for 3 hours. And whenever I got here, they're crying and they're screaming last night before last, when I heard Ian get home. And last night when I got home was just appalling. He's going to give them separation anxiety, and I'm trying to train them. I wanted to take them. I was like, if I'm going to have a camping trip for a week and just me, all 3 dogs should be here so I can train them in how to camp, how to stay clean, how to get washed, how to hike trails, how to drive around in the car, and all of that type of stuff. And he just left them here. So I got here last night about 6, and I shut off my phone as soon as I reached the Illinois border. And because he's always saying, well, I tried to call you and I couldn't get through. Well, I tried to text you, but I didn't have time because you're messing up my life so much. Well, he messaged me that he had saw the house and a video of the house. He didn't even look at the house. He just drove by the house. So I guess his intent was for all of us to be starving, drive 2 hours to drive by a house. Now, this house, it's a cute house, a bungalow. First month, no first month's rent, no security deposit. $475 a month because the last tenants tore the house up. And you can stay in there for $475 a month if you're cleaning it up, doing repairs. From what I could see, the structure looks good. Some windows are busted out. There's a lot of like construction material around in the yard. It looked like it had a fenced yard. It had a porch. So I'm just going to drive down there at some point in time. Just drive down there, go see the house myself, drive back. I'm going to take stuff down to the storage unit that I had and drive back. I'm going to hire movers to move everything else that I need down to a storage unit down there because God found. I'm not taking credit. God did this. God is so good. God is so gracious. I did not plan any of this. I planned for what would be needed for possibilities, like having about 50 different ways that this could go, and planning, my glasses are so messed up, and planning for possibilities of what could possibly happen. Me living on the streets, me finding a place to stay, going to a women's shelter. If I go to a women's shelter, then I'd be able to get into the system and get help finding a place. So I already had Department of Aging, Adult Protective Services here, so I'm going to call them and talk with them. I think I'm going to go get the documents from Memorial Records of all of the bruises from him abusing me on Friday night, Good Friday, and take everything in again, rewrite my 18-page document, make it a 20-page document now, and put it all in chronological order. And go up there and get an OP again. And they'll have to give me an emergency OP since 1 week ago I got the shit beat out of me and put in jail for it. And all I need is 2 weeks. And I could try to go get the OP for permanent. They may or may not give it to me. I really don't give a fuck. By the time I reach that court date, I'll already have my shit done because God's moving me. I don't have to depend on my energy, my mind, my thinking, my processes. God has this. God has me. Jesus, God is carrying me. It's the footprints in the sand. During the hardest time of my life, God is carrying me. And I don't got to worry about it because there's no way I could have planned what happened yesterday. He was following me to go look at that house, and my GPS, my app, sent me in some really weird directions into this town. And then it kept like rerouting me inside of the town, doing this, doing that. And so I'm like circling around all these blocks, and he's following me. And he called me and he's like, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm like, this damn GPS is driving me all over the place. I told you that these things aren't working for me and that I just want an atlas map because this is bullshit. And so he said, fine, I'm going to go on to the house. You take the route that your thing's showing. And I'm going to take the route that mine's showing. And I had already talked to him earlier that day about how the way he communicates, that he calls everything in the kitchen a pot, whether it's a skillet, a cast iron, a grill, or an actual pot, a stock pot, a simmering pot, a pan, that you like a small pan that you cook soup in or something, or that you open like a can of green beans and you put it in. Every single thing in the kitchen is a pot. And, I told him, I said, you're just saying that I'm going to the house. After you talked about seeing that house in Missouri, and you talked about us just going back to Springfield. So if you just say the house to me, I'm going to think our house, our family house. I'm going to go to the house, our house. Because for 33 years, that's how he's referred to our house, the house. If he's talking about a house in Alton that we've never seen, that is not ours, then he should say, I'm going to the Alton house, or I'm going to that rental property. And whenever he asked me, are you going to the house? My GPS was on, taking me back home to Springfield. And I said, yes, I am going to the house. And I just proceeded on. He had already started to move his stuff into this house. He set up the Blink cameras here, even though I had asked him since January 1st to get it set up for me so that I would have security and be able to monitor my house. He won't let me have access to it. It was signed up in his name. He changed the passcodes on it, so I can't get into it. And so he's keeping cameras running on the house that me and the kids stay in, won't allow me to have access to it for my own security. So then why is he keeping those cameras running? Wouldn't that be to stalk us, to watch us? He even put the camera that attaches to the Blink that you can see inside. He set it back up so that you could see everything in the living room, the great room. And that's supposed to be, for our doorbell, because that's what makes the noise for the doorbell. And I told him I didn't like having that thing in the house recording. But while I was gone for one day, he moved a TV in here, moved documents in here, rearranged the house, set up the log to be able to monitor. So he was back at the campsite when his phone dinged with the Ring camera showing that I had just pulled into the driveway, and I walked right into the house and I found out that Ring was there, and I just unplugged it. And I knew what he was going to do, throw a fit or just be quiet and put Kira in the car and leave everything there. And that's what he did. I had the house all locked up. He sent Kira to the door to pretend like he wasn't here. I asked Kira, is he with you? And she was too scared to talk. And I said, is he with you? And she was too scared to talk. And then he comes up behind her and he says, I'm here. It's okay. I'm safe. I'm not going to bother you. And so I unlock the chain off of the door and I dart up to my bedroom and I lock my door. Within 5 minutes, he's banging on my door. I want to talk to you about that house. I don't say anything. He bangs on the door again. Well, I need to get stuff out of Vanna's room because I moved important work stuff in there. And it's locked now. Like, well, I didn't say anything, but I'm thinking, well, it's Vanna's room. You said you weren't moving back in here because me leaving for Missouri to get away from you. It wasn't about you trying to get the house back from me and take everything away from me. Except for that's kind of what it looked like you were doing. Except that's exactly what you were doing. I told you not to bring the stuff down to Missouri because I can't handle a campsite by myself. That's why I wasn't doing it. But he made me do it. I paid for it. It's down there. But now I can't leave the house to go down there to retrieve my stuff because then he can take possession of this house again. So I've got contingency plans, and I'm not going to mention. God talked to me the whole 2.5 hours home about how things are going to go, and all I could do is say thank you, JC. Thank you so much, God. You are so gracious. You are amazing. I know my Lord works miracles. And still the miracles that he works just stun me. There's no way I could have lost him in that town the way that I lost him. God had to have been doing that to my GPS because the whole time I was alone down there, going down there, my GPS never messed up. It never screwed up, never caused me to have rerouting and not be able to get stops. But as soon as he got down there and we were trying to go see the house, that's exactly what happened. And I realized after he called me and he says, I can't find you I've lost you. And I drove right in front of them. Their car was coming down a road, and I went across the crossroad, and I looked directly at them in their truck. And I asked Kira, did you guys see me drive in front of you? And she said, no. And I said, that's because God cloaked me. And I wasn't driving fast. I wasn't driving erratic. Arlo was in my lap. I was driving with one hand with my little Velcro dog. And then all of a sudden, after he called me and said that he had lost me, my GPS rerouted. And within 2 minutes, I was out of the town and back on a highway heading to Springfield. I have no idea how he did that. And then, he told me, I was listening to CDs, and he told me, shut your phone off. You're only heading to Springfield. You know how to get there. Use the navigation in your truck. Shut your phone off. Just continue to listen to CDs. I had all the snacks. I had all of the food. He didn't really have much, nothing but some empty coolers. For some reason, he took the coolers off of the campsite for us to go see this house, and it had no food in it. They just had bags of ice that I bought from Walmart the night before. And we bought 2 bags from Walmart, and we walked around Walmart. We were there for a good 40 minutes. I wound up spending $150 on camping supplies, and then we didn't even get to camp. And I guess those supplies are down there. But I'll head back down there, and I'll get the stuff. I'll probably, I don't know when I'm going to do it. God's going to tell me when the time is right. But I needed to make this video to show just how abusive and how this man is chasing me across the countryside to try to kill me, try to ruin my reputation everywhere. He got me upset the first night that I was there in Herman, and I was trying to find a place to stay. And I had called him since he had internet and I was having signal issues. And I asked him to use, he was at the house, I asked him to use my computer on the internet in the house with the electricity that he had to help me find a hotel that would take dogs, that would take Arlo. And I wound up finding the hotel. And, he just makes everything so difficult. He didn't need to get involved in my life. I was handling my business. He refused to help me find the hotel. I wound up finding the hotel. He said that he called these places and that he was going to get me a room. He never did call any of the places because I called them. The ones that he texted me and said that he had called to get me a room, and that even one of them, he said, call the lady back. She's got 1 room left and she's waiting for you. And I said, but do they accept dogs? And he said, I don't know. And so I did go ahead and call her back, and I let her know, I'm right out in front of your hotel right now. My husband had called. He said that you have 1 room left. Do you accept dogs? And she was like, oh, no, honey, I can't take dogs. And so I went on the internet using 5G and found a hotel that accepted dogs. It was a beautiful place. A woman just bought that. Her and I became friends. And she's one of the places that I may have a job with because she needs help there. And I don't want to be hired. I just want to work. I just want to be in service to people, do something. I was going to talk to her about, look, I'm on Social Security. I get all the money that I need to be able to survive. Is there a room in this building, because it's a giant mansion, is there a room in this building, just 1 single room, that has access to a toilet, that I could stay in just to work for you? Answer phones, schedule rooms, change sheets, clean rooms, stock supplies, keep the grounds clean. As long as you would understand that I have medical conditions and there may be a day where I'm like, I'm not well today. But I don't want to be hired. I don't want to put taxation on her. I don't want to put Social Security and unemployment on her. And I don't want to screw up my Social Security and lose it by making too much money or wearing myself out doing a full-time job or something. So I'm going to talk with her. I've got her number. I've got the number of the guy over at the storage unit. I went to a place called Going Postal. I met the owner there, found out that she had just lost an employee. So I have options. I'm able to find people, and God guides me. But I think this trip right now was not for me to actually move at this time, but it was to gather further evidence. It was for me to be able to find locations, to be able to make more contacts, and be able to figure out things more. And then I'm right back here in the house, and he's still having to pay the bills, still in his apartment, still going to work, still sleeping on an air mattress. So whatever he thinks that he's winning in this game, I don't consider it winning. I'm not trying to win, and I'm not trying to get him to lose. I'm just trying to be safe and not look like I do right now and be so exhausted and tired. And I never got mad. I never got mad. I never broke down and cried. Nothing. I just kept logically speaking truths to his insanity. And he would just shut down, put his head down on the table, walk away, do something that didn't need to be done, refuse to do things that he knew needed to be done, and then blamed me for sitting there trying to eat breakfast, trying to drink a cup of coffee, trying to wait for my medications to kick in, like I have to do every morning. It takes me about 2 hours whenever I get up to get my medicines in me, to get some coffee in me, and get my joints to not be hurting, and to be able to get up to get my brain faculties going, to get my blood pumping, as they used to say, get that blood pumping. And he still, after 33 years, just doesn't care. No empathy, no consideration, no consistency, no intelligence, no learning, no growing. Just a miserable, insufferable, burdensome, difficult, frustrating human being is all he is. And it's all his energy. It's all in him that he feels about him. But he can't contain it, so he puts it on me and uses me as a punching bag so that he can feel better about how much he feels like a piece of shit. And no matter how many times I tell him, I know everything you've done to me. I know everything that you've done in your life. I know all the wicked, wicked things you have done. And I still love you. I just want your undivided attention, love. I want to be covered in the blood of Christ and be protected and fall into the arms of the man that I love, knowing that I'm protected. I don't need a big house. I don't need fancy cars. I don't need a lot of money. I just need you to love me, support me, and to allow me to fall into your arms and know that I am safe. And he's never going to be that person. He never has. He never has. And all of this that's happened this year has really proved to me that I am way more powerful and way stronger and way smarter and way more emotionally stable than he ever made me believe that I am. All of my suicidal ideation, all of my fear, all of my anxiety, all of my medical issues, like all of it is because of what he puts me through, just like my father. And I'm not going to go to jail for him, and I'm not going to die for him. God has a plan for me, and I'm going to follow God. I sang that song, I made Help Me Rhonda into Help Me Jesus. And as all of this was happening yesterday, I just kept hearing that. Help me, Jesus, help me, Jesus. Help me, Jesus, help me, Jesus. And, the first verse I did was help me, family, help me, family. And then it became Help Me, Jesus for the rest of the song, because the one who is always there for you is JC. I'm not a Christian. I'm not a Christian in the way that the organized religion considers a person to be a Christian. Fifth time relighting a cigarette because I'm talking so much. And I'm not a Christian as far as the religion goes. But Jesus is my master. And the Lord God that he serves is my God. And that is a good God. And that is a loving God. And Jesus is everything that a man should be. Gentle, loving, protective, nurturing, honest, capable, consistent, reliable, honest, all of it. Every quality that a man should embody, Jesus showed it. And if men would follow Jesus and follow his path, every single one of us women and children would be safe. But instead they choose wicked. They choose wickedness. And then blame us women for their deeds and their guilt and their shame. And I think collectively all of us women are moving that this is no more. This is not going to happen to us anymore. This is not going to happen to our children anymore. And if the men cannot protect us, then we will protect each other. But while he was yelling at me about that, trying to find the hotel, I pulled into a gas station that I had went to whenever I was down there in December, but it was closed. It was open, but it was closed because they were remodeling the entire inside. The lights were on, people were inside working, and I was in the parking lot. And for 40 minutes, I was in that parking lot crying and arguing with him on the phone. And this 20-year-old boy who was raped by his mother as a child and now lives with his alcoholic father who abuses him verbally and mentally, but he stays with his dad because it's only 2 blocks from this job that he found at that gas station. This 20-year-old meek, tiny boy, I mean, he was as frail looking as anybody could look. He walked towards a total stranger and walked up to my window and he said, "Ma'am, are you okay?" I said, "Honey, I'm not okay." And I started to tell him what I was going through, and Bob was on the phone, and he started yelling through the phone, sir, she's just crazy. I'm not like that. She's just a psychopath." And I muted it. And I just talked with that guy for a good half an hour about all sorts of different things. And he was just a kid, and he was telling me how he's suffering suicidal ideation, and he's trying to trust in God and trying to follow the faith in Jesus. But he's been burned by churches too, and he's been through nothing but the fire, the crucible for 20 years. From the moment he was born to the moment that he walked up to a stranger's car and said, "Can I help you with anything?" More compassion and more love and more caring from that young child, not even 21, doesn't even have a fully formed brain, doesn't have fully formed emotional capacity, has no money, has no resources, and is all alone himself. He walked up to me to see if I was okay, and we prayed with each other. I offered to give him my phone number, that if he ever needed anything that he could call me, and he got scared. And he was like, "I can't help you, ma'am. There's nothing I got to give you." I went, No. I don't need anything from you. I'm 50. I'm grown. I've got my resources. You're 20. And you told me you're having suicidal ideation and you don't know how much longer you can go on. May I give you my number? So if you need somebody to talk to, you can reach out to me and I can return the favor. Hun, is there anything I can do for you? Are you okay? And he got scared, and his boss was inside waving at him. And so he went inside. But now I know where he works. I know what he looks like. And when I get back down there, I have 5 new friends from being down there for 48 hours. So, I got my court date from him beating me up on April 22nd. I found out from the state's attorney that the way that I get the public defender is whenever I arrive at that appointment, I request to be appointed a public defender. And I've got enough evidence that the public defender is going to have a really, 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 really easy case. And the public defender will be able to help me bring Ian and Kira in and have them questioned properly to be able to prove how abusive this man is. And I'm going to see where things go. Right now, it's a beautiful day. It's sunny. I told the kids, I woke up about 4 o'clock in the morning, not knowing where the dogs were. And I went walking around the house, whistling, calling for him, and there was no answer. And I started to panic, thinking that he had taken my dogs away from me last night when he left. And I went into Ian's room and I was like, "Ian, do you have Arlo?" Because Arlo's a Velcro dog. He never leaves me alone. And he was like, "Yeah, I got Arlo right here." And he tried to look under the blankets and Arlo wasn't in his room. And that's when I panicked and started crying. And I went to Kira's room and I was like, "Are they in here?" And I saw Elka and Heidi. And I was like, but where's Arlo? Arlo, 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 come to me, please. Arlo, Arlo, please. Arlo, please. And then he was underneath the bed hiding. And Kira got him out. And as soon as he was put in my arms, I just held him so tight and started crying. I called Robert twice, not for the intent of talking to him, but I knew he would send me to voicemail because he thinks I need him. And I just wanted to record the voicemail messages that I was sending him about what he did over the weekend. And so that's what I did. I had to call twice to be able to say everything and get it recorded in his voicemail messages, but it's in his voicemail messages and I've got it recorded of the way my voice sounds, how tired I am, the time of day that it is, what I've been through, what he did. And he's just racking up evidence. He's stalking me, he's abusing me, he's trying to control me, he's destroying my reputation, he's hurting my children, he's starving my children, he's starving my pets, he's abandoning me and the pets, his home, everything. And he can go ahead and do that. I'm going to let him, like Mel Robbins' book said, let him, and then let you. So after I get everything out of this house and everything sold off, I will move to Missouri. And he can stay here in this big ass fucking house, in this nasty ass state, working that crap ass fucking job. And he can work all the overtime he wants and he can get all the raises he wants. But now he's lost everything. And Sangamon County put mugshots on there and there was like 900 comments. And I commented back to every single one, gave them a link to my YouTube channel where I'm uploading these videos so they can follow it. Some of my friends, Kathy Holman, Amy Holman, who used to be my neighbors back in 1997. For 10 years, we were neighbors and I helped raise her kids. And I saw her through depression. Her husband was a crack addict. And we bonded together. And for 30 years, we've known each other and we stayed in touch and we protect each other and we take care of each other. She defended me on that mugshots, but I wound up uploading my bruises and all of that type of stuff to the mugshot page. Uploaded that I'd went to the doctor found even more bruises all over me, told me that my diaphragm was bruised, the intercostal muscles on my right side of my ribs were bruised and the bones were bruised, and that's why we couldn't see a bruise, but it hurt to breathe or hurt to lay down, and that's why I was having such rapid, shallow breath, labored, rapid, shallow breath whenever I was first put in jail, because he could have almost cracked my fucking rib. And I'm on no hormones, and I'm very sick with Crohn's disease, and osteoporosis is happening. I just found out I've got disc degenerative disease, and he beat me on my back that night. So that's why I was hurting so bad and crying in that mugshot. Not including the anal abscess that I had that exploded in a drunk tank. But he's the one who has it hard and he's the one that's tired. So that's it for now. We'll see how this day goes. We'll see what happens next. For right now, all I need to do is just relax. Take it easy, take care of myself, take care of my pets, take care of my home, feed me, my children, and regroup. So thank you for listening. I appreciate everybody who may be following these or in the future may follow these and hear these videos and know that they are not alone, that you are not the problem. You are not the issue. You are not stupid. You are not incapable. You are not ridiculous. You're none of those things. You're a loyal, good human being that is attached to an evil bastard. Whether you're male or female. This can be in men or female, narcissistic, pathological, sadist. It can happen in women too. It's just not as frequent because society doesn't really allow us to behave that way. But men are actually like applauded for it. So if you're seeing these videos, I send you prayers, I send you love, and I'm holding you tight. God bless. Love you. Bye for now.